Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Futurama Season 2, Episode 3 of my show, which is also going to be about Episode 3. And now, Episode 3 in the second season of the Futurama series is known as When Aliens Attack. Now, the name of this episode states the Earth in this episode is going to get invaded, but I'm explain why. I just wanted to explain why, the reason for why it was titled that. But anyway, getting into it, the way this episode first starts off is it starts off back in Fry's time in the year 2000. Well, 1999, before the year 2000, but you get the point. He's making a pizza delivery to the Fox TV station, and then he basically meets up with this TV technician that's working there, and they're showing the season finale of basically the TV show Single Female Lawyer, and the guy's wondering if he wants to watch it with them, and then basically they start watching it. But the funny thing is, Fry actually puts his beer can on the control console, like the control console for producing the shows for the TV stuff. So, which actually turns out to be a bad thing, because of what happens is, the reason why I say that's a bad thing is because what happens is after that, oh my god, I'm sorry, but this is just, oh my god, I'm sorry, but I kind of gotta laugh about this because it's hilarious. Oh, anyway, what happens is, because of him putting his beer can on the console that showed the TV show, when he basically stretched out his arms, he accidentally knocked over the beer can, which spilled onto the console which was producing the TV show. And basically what happened was, the guy got upset with him because he was like, oh my god, you knocked Fox off the air. Like anyone on Earth cares. And then now the reason why I say that's ironic is because okay, technically, yes, Fox got knocked up. The show got knocked off the air because of the technical issues that he caused when he spilled beer on the transmitter for transmitting the episode for the show. And he said that no one on Earth cares, but this is the funny thing about that. What happens is, because of him doing that, the television radio waves automatically reach Omicron Persei I-8 in Fry's time in 1,000 light years away. So basically they are able to watch the TV show up to the point where it goes to the point where where the councilman is basically talking with Jenny McNeil in the unisex bathroom and stuff, and then this brighter person is saying that, could you repeat that last part, and then that's where the transmission cuts out, and then the Omicronian that's watching it with his wife is like, this is an outrage! I demand to know what happened to the plucky lawyer in the hoop skirt. But then basically Fox says that basically the technician there said that due to technical difficulties, they now bring you 8 animated shows in a row, which is basically like a marathon, and then the Omicronian basically uses the ray gun to zap the TV. Oh my god, I'm sorry, that's just, oh. Anyway, what basically happens, I just wanted to mention that part since for 2 reasons. It's the beginning part of the episode, and I just figured it's kind of funny regardless. Anyway, what happens is, Fry is basically watching TV with Bender, and basically Leela, that's when Leela and and Amy come in, and then basically they're saying that they're rotting their brains watching TV. They should come with them to the beach, and the beach that they're referring to is known as Monument Beach. And now the funny thing about the Monument Beach thing is the reason why it's called that is because it has different kinds of landmarks, like monument landmarks from many different countries in it, and I'm gonna explain why because but when it gets to that point, but I just wanted to mention that basically what happens is they managed to take the Planet Express ship to Monument Beach to fly over there, and then Fry sees that, and then he sees basically the Mount Rushmore Monument, which is basically the mountain that has all the presidents' heads carved into it, and the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is in Italy, and then Fry gets confused because he's like, wait, Mount Rushmore and the Leaning Tower of Pisa? I didn't know they were both in New York. And then Leela says that they are not. The reason why he was confused was because he didn't know that they were both there. Leela then explains to him that they are in this time because in one of the 2600s, New York elected a supervillain governor, and that governor basically stole most of the world's most popular landmarks, so essentially, and bringing them to New York. So that's why they're there, is because of a technicality, because they were technically stolen and brought there, but which is kind of true because he was a governor at the time, so it was probably that he could get away with it. Anyway, they're relaxing on the beach, and then basically, while they're relaxing on the beach, Fry's telling Bender that he wants to basically do something with him, but then Bender basically says this thing where he says that little catchphrase of his, bite my shiny metal ass. But in this case, he's like, bite my red hot glowing ass. And then he's like, wait a minute, red hot glowing ass. And then he's like, I'll be right back. And then he starts running and screaming and because his shiny rear end is basically on fire. I think it's because of the grill thing, but he basically puts himself in the water to cool his bottom half off. Oh my god, I'm sorry, that's hilarious. And basically, what happens is after that, is that's when the Omicronians show up on Earth and start causing havoc. And then the president of Earth in this episode is saying that they won't they will give the aliens whatever they want, and then because this is the part of where they're doing a news conference on the TV, and then that's when the Omicronian lure shows up on the TV, and he's like, people of Earth, we want the one you call McNeil. We want at least 2-year-old. And then after that, the president, whose name's McNeil, thinks that it's him that they want. So he tries to downplay that he's the one they're after by saying that mankind would rather perish than give the overlord, this McNeil, whoever it is. And then basically, the president is basically explaining that, the one to lead the counterattack, against the Omicronians will be Zap Brannigan. And then basically when Leela sees that, she gets annoyed by that, and then Bender's like, hey, look, Leela, it's that windbag you slept with. Oh my god, I'm sorry, that's just a little hilarious. And then she's saying that, then she tries to downplay that part of it where she says, like, the Earth is in danger of being destroyed. Can't we just forget about that? Which is kind of true in this case. I just thought I'd mention that. Basically what happens is, basically what happens after that is, Zap is basically explaining on the TV that he's, wanting anyone with a ship to, he basically says on the TV that he's recruiting anyone that has a ship to, join him in the fight against the Omicronians, and anyone that doesn't have a ship, should just grab like a ray gun and then basically shoot wildly into the air and stuff like that. And then Leela gets a little annoyed by that, but then she tells them, I'm guessing she is a little annoyed, but she understands, because she told Fry and Bender, well, you heard the blowhard, we've been drafted. And so they take the Planet Express ship, and to the Nimbus, which is, as you guys remember, I explained, it's Zap's ship that he commands when he's with the Democratic Order of Planets, or known as Dupe in this case. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I just gotta laugh. Anyway, basically what happens is after that, after Zap explains about it, well, what happens with Bender is first he decides that he doesn't want to go, but then I'm just actually gonna backtrack here to Bender, because basically what happens with him is, when Leela said that they'd been drafted, that they had to go, because of them being drafted and everything, Bender, said that he didn't want to go, but then that's when Zap on the TV mentioned that since this wasn't state of emergency, all robots would have their patriotism circuits activated. Now I'm just gonna explain what the patriotism circuit thing was. It's basically a program that's built into every robot in the series that is basically sort of like if the Earth is in a state of emergency, like a crisis, then the robot's patriotism circuits get activated, overriding their original circuits, which basically makes them die for the planet, and in service to the planet Earth. And basically, when Bender's patriotism circuits are activated first, he's like, "It is every robot's duty to give his life for the great mankind, for the glory of mankind." And then he gets annoyed by that, but because of his patriotism circuits being activated, he had no choice but to go along now. And then basically what happens is, now the funny thing about the whole patriotism circuit thing, I actually say that's funny because of the fact that, That's actually gonna play a hand in the second last video that I'm gonna cover for this season. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Anyway, basically what happens is after that, basically what happens after that is, after, Zap is saying that they're from different cultures and stuff, and then basically, and after a little thing where they have to make their own beds and stuff, that they go to fight the aliens in the ship. Well, first they fight the ship that they think is the aliens' mothership, which is the Omicronian ship, and then basically when they go fighting it in the Planet Express ship, Fry gets ecstatic about it because he said that it's basically, he's gonna be like a space hero, like Captain Janeway, which is a Star Trek kind of reference. But then Leela basically tells him that this isn't TV, it's real life. Can't he tell the difference? And then basically he says, sure. Oh, speaking of Leela, I'm just gonna backtrack here. When Zap saw Leela on the ship, he was wondering if they could, in case one of them didn't get to come back. But then basically, I think Leela was being a little serious and a little jokingly when she said this next part, because she was like, maybe they should wait until afterwards in case neither of them comes back, and then Seth basically said he was hoping, and then I just wanted to backtrack to that part, and then basically they start blasting the ship with the other ships that Zap had recruited, and then basically while they're fighting, Leela tells Bender to give them a damage report, and then basically Bender's damage report is basically that the auxiliary power is out, and the aliens made him spill his cocktail. Now the spilled cocktail thing, I think that is what caused the auxiliary power to go out, but who knows? It might also have been caused because of the battle, because the ship was probably in constant motion because of the laser fire and stuff. So that's also a possibility. And then when Fry gets upset with the cocktail, it's like, alright, scumwatch, this one's for Bender's cocktail, and then he starts blasting the ship, and then they all manage to destroy it, and then Fry said that they won, but then Bender gets upset, and he said that, but it'll never replace his martini, and then he said, and that's the funny part about it, is he actually said, he starts making another one after, he's like, well, who wants a martini? And he, basically what happens is after that, Zap contacts the ships and said that the mothership is destroyed, but then this big mass shows up, and then Zap wonders what he's like, what the hell is that? And then Kim tells him, he's like, it appears to be the mothership. But after that, Zap wonders if that's the mothership, then what did they just blow up? And then Kip's like, tells them that it's like the Hubble telescope. Oh my god. And then the ship starts getting blasted by the actual mothership. And then basically Zap gets upset that they're being exploded. He's like, stop exploding, you cowards! And then basically Leela says that this is hopeless. If they're gonna get blown to bits, they might as well do it in their own home. And then they managed to get back to Earth and back to the Planet Express building. But at the same time when they were getting back, Farnsworth was trying to get their replacements because he was hiring these 3 people, which were 2 humans and 1 robot, to replace Leela, Fry, and Bender, basically. But when they showed up again, he's like, oh god, you're alive. I mean, thank god you're alive. And then he tells them, he says he's sorry about that, and then check back in a few days, a week at the most, and then basically the Omicronians Lur basically takes over a transmission and he's like, "We want McNeil! Stop stalling!" And then basically, the newswoman is like, "And now, a rebuttal from President McNeil." And then McNeil is basically saying that the people of Earth remain lenient in his desire to not hand over himself, and he said that total annihilation is a small price to pay. But then that's when Zap takes him in like a sack, like a big potato bag sack, and then they all get happy about that because they think by giving them the president they'll not destroy the planet. And then basically Zap drops the bag over at the Omicronian ship, and he knocks on the door and he's like, "Here he is, come and get him." And then they see the bag, and then the president of the Earth shows up and comes out of the bag, and then basically Lur's like, after Lur sees him, it's like, "You are not McNeil." And then, what? And then both Zap and the president are like, "What?" And then basically Nidna is saying that he's not the one they want, and then basically they're surprised by that, and then the president is basically thanking them, but before he finishes thanking them, basically Lur zaps him with his ray gun, and then he's telling him to basically give them McNeil, and then basically Zap gets confused because that was McNeil, but then basically Nidna explains that the Jenny McNeil from Single Female Lawyer, and basically Lur says that she wears mini skirts and is promiscuous, and then when Fry hears that mini skirts part, that he says that sounds familiar, and then basically Lur is saying that she's a female single, lawyer trying to operate in an adult male's world, but as a lawyer, and then Zap makes a joke about that, saying that maybe that's just her excuse for being incompetent, and he says silence, and then Lur says silence, and that they will accept no more decoys. This is the McNeil, and then that's when Fry sees the picture. He's like, "Wait, I know her," but then Leela gets agitated with Fry because to her he doesn't know anyone because he always watches TV. But then Fry basically explains that that's where he knows the girl from. She was Jenny McNeil. She was a character in a TV show back in the 20th century. Single female lawyer. And then basically what happens is, after Bender hears that part, he's like, "Well, if they are looking to see a TV show that hasn't aired for 1,000 years, they are royally boned." Oh my god. And then basically Lyric says that they will raise Earth's temperature by 1 degree every hour unless they see McNeil at 9 p.m. tomorrow, 8 Central, which is at 9 p.m. Eastern Central Time, like basically Eastern Pacific Time and Central Time, and basically in the next scene, what happens is she said that the Omicronians are basically gonna blow up the Earth unless they see a TV show about some dumb bimbo lawyer. And then basically Fry said that that's crazy, but how could they even know about a TV show from 1,000 years ago? And then basically the professor tries to explain that Omicron Persei I-8 was over 1,000 light years away, so the transmission waves would have just gotten there. And then Fry interprets that as he's saying that they got there by magic and stuff because he's an idiot. I think it was just because he was trying to shorten it into a way for him to say it, like an easier way for him to say it, because he's a bit, because he's an idiot in the series. And then basically, Amy goes on the internet and basically looks up the single female lawyer, and then she finds the article about what happened, about some idiots spilled coke on the transmitter, and then basically, Fry says that beer, he would think, because the person that spilled the beer on the transmitter was him. And then basically, after seeing that, Bender wonders that they must just want to see that episode. So he thinks that they should just find the tape and give it to them. But when Amy looks it up, she finds out that there are no copies of that episode left. And then Farnsworth said that there wouldn't be because most of those tapes were destroyed during the second coming of Jesus. And then basically, Fry said they basically saw the first 20 minutes of that episode, 20 seconds of that episode. Maybe if he could think up an ending, they could make them think it's the real ending and make them go away from the planet. Basically, and basically, Zoidberg says that he could make the costumes, and Farnsworth said that he had some sort of old school transmission device in the attic, and then Bender said that he could be an acting coach. Oh my god. Oh, speaking of Professor Farnsworth, I'm just gonna backtrack here to the part where they were actually escaping before I continue. Fry asked him if the world was gonna be destroyed by the Omicronians, and then basically, Farnsworth said that he thought so, but although the last time aliens invaded the Earth, I'm just backtracking here because I'm sort of getting close to the end of the episode anyway. I'm just explaining that. Anyway, Farnsworth explains that the last time aliens invaded the Earth in the series, all they did was pick two people from each group and have them pair off and mate continuously and stop, and then that's the only thing I wanted to backtrack to. And then basically, Fry said that they should put on. Now, getting back into this, what I was stating earlier, Fry mentions that they'll put on his show. And then basically, they start hooking up this transponder so they can transmit the ending to their version of single female lawyer to the Omicronians so that the Earth doesn't get blown up by them. And then Lur's saying that basically, prepare the water cooler as we may gather around it later and discuss things. And then basically, what happens is in the made-up version of the TV show that they're doing, after a little bit of acting and stuff, I'm sorry if I'm rushing it here with this episode, but I'm sort of almost done this video, so I just want to cover most of the parts of the episode that I find are rather important and stuff. But anyway, what happens is, they're playing their parts in the made-up version of Fry's version of the final episode that he watched before the transmitter got knocked out back in the beginning of the episode, which meant that the Omicronians couldn't watch the ending of the episode to know the actual ending. And then while Leela's reading her paper, she finds out that Fry, when she leafs through it, she realizes that Fry only wrote 10 pages of dialogue. 2 pages of dialogue, and then basically Fry says that it took an hour to write. I thought it would take an hour to read. And then basically, Leela said that basically she told the professor, the judge in this case, that she's giving up the law and being single, and she's asking the judge to marry her, and then basically, Fry gets shocked by that, and then the TV audience the Omicron audience gets shocked by that, and then basically what happens is, Fry's like, no, go to commercial, and then Bender's like, we'll be right back after this word from Crazy Bender's sitcom studio, and then I basically explains that marriage, Jenny can't get married, and then Leela wonders why not, because it's clever, it's unexpected, but then Fry explains that that's not why people watch TV. Clever things make them feel stupid, and unexpected things make them feel scared. And then that's when the Omicronians contact them again, and he's like, Lord's like, attention McNeil, your unexpected marriage plan excuses. You stole our hearts as a single female lawyer, and so you shall remain. And then basically Fry said that, you see, people don't want something unexpected. They want the same thing they've seen 1,000 times. And then basically Bender's like, what you talking about, Fry? And then basically Fry's like telling them that to trust them while other people were out living their lives. He wasted his time in front of the TV because he always knew that deep down it would help him save the earth one day. And he also said that the other reason why is because he would have lost his workman's compensation if he just went outside. Oh my God. And then basically what happens is he's telling them to basically just read these cue cards. And then while they're reading them, the professor said that as the judge said that he must turn down Jenny McNeil's offer of marriage for you see he's dying, and then he says cough and then fall over dead, and then Zoidberg's like, by God, he's dead. And then basically I think he was actually supposed to cough and then fall over dead literally, but in his case he took it as a writing thing, so he just read it. So, and it is what it is. Anyway, Zoidberg says, by God, he's dead. And then basically Leela said that she will now make her closing statement. Well, as Jenny McNeil, she'll make her closing statement. Now, with her fiance deceased, she will return to her single female loyal career, no matter what any man says. And then after that, Laura basically contacts them again and says that he thought that ending was okay. Overall, he'd give it a C+. Okay, not really that great. And as such, they will not destroy this planet this time. And then he says, and now we return to our planet to catch up on 1,000-year-old Leno monologue. And then they leave the planet, and then the people were very happy that they left. And then Fry's starting to watch TV again, and then it cuts back into the segment of the episode where it shows New York being destroyed because of, well, the after effects of the aliens destroying the planet because of the TV show thing. And then that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And I will see you guys probably next time for the next video. But until then, like I always tell you with this series, fun on the bun!